Hello, Heroclix Land. Welcome back to a very special edition of Talkn Clix. Every episode is special to me personally, but this is an extra special one. We are doing the first ever roundtable discussion, the Knights of the Nerd Table. I just want to do a little conversational episode, not really an interview. We're just going to talk about some things going on, our thoughts on Smash and Destroy, things like that, and just get a variety of opinions all in one show. As of right now, recording, we are the day before Memorial Day. So my question to the group, starting with Scott, since you're from Texas, how do you like your steak?
Medium, medium rare, medium.
Antonio?
I'm a medium guy. Nice and medium.
What state are you in?
I'm in Jersey right now,
Jersey.
but I'm originally from Maryland.
Okay.
So
And Jay, how do you cook your steak?
I don't eat steak, but I am a little bit of snob about it. It has to be medium or below. We had a big discussion with people just 2 days ago. Somebody told me they like their steak well done, and I've decided to cut all contact with this person. I don't need that kind of bullshit in my life.
Come on, your Darth Vader joke? That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Dun
Yeah,
dun
your Darth Vader
dun
joke.
dun dun dun.
that's well done.
I like mine just medium. Nice warm pink center, still a little juicy, but not overdone. Not still moving. Just that nice little pink center there. That's perfect.
Now, if you can
As
blacken
somebody
the
who
steak
does cook
and
it,
still
yeah.
get it medium,
What was
As
that,
somebody who
Scott?
does cook and have made steak a couple times, yeah, no, medium is right where it's at.
Yep.
Anything above that, you're just ruining the meat.
What'd you
I
say,
was I
my
Scott?
was
thing is if
raised in
you
a
can,
well.
Oh,
I was raised to have it well done, right? So I think culturally in black families they like cook my food generally. Like generally, that's what it's like. Cook my food all the way through. But it wasn't until I went through basic training that I had probably one of the best steaks when I was in basic training. At the end, after we did something called Victory Forge, I had probably the nicest steak I ever had in my life that was cooked in the military and it was cooked medium. And from that point on, I've had it medium.
nice.
so I used to work at a restaurant called Steak and Ale. I don't know if they've been nationwide or not,
I've heard of
I've
it.
heard
but
of it.
they had a chef in the back that would blacken the steak. It's like he would sear the seasoning onto it and then make it a medium steak. That was the best steaks I've ever had. I've tried to duplicate it for 20 years and it's very difficult.
My wife is obsessed with Gordon Ramsay, and when I watch his shows and he like just flame kisses it, and then it's like he cuts it open, it is bloody. I'm like, oh, I can't. No, that's too much. All right, so
That
let's
sounds like meat
talk some
talking.
clicks. Scott, do you want to start us off with a little something about Hero Clicks for Huntingtons?
Yeah, well, the idea of this was to not beat up the top cuts of anything. So I went to the Silver Age team, 37th place, played by who is this guy? This lovely gentleman, Aaron Tarbley, Dark Knight 1939. You thought you could make it. Thanos Copter team. I found that to be a very interesting build. Um, as Carnage Silver Surfer with Avatar of Khonshu, the Thanos Copter, and he had the Captain America Thanos as the pilot of the helicopter. So I have not quite looked into it enough to figure out how he played it with the Thanos on there, but just that whole build looked fun to play. So kudos to him for having a nice team. He also had a Mangog, so I would be interested to see if anyone got googed or gogged or whatever you want to call it, because that can be really dirty. So
Now, I'm post helicopter, so tell the audience what the Thanos copter does.
So the Thanos copter lets Thanos become a pilot. So basically, the pilot can hop in. I don't know if you ever played vehicles before, but any of the vehicles, you could have the pilot hop inside, and they would get the attack and damage values, and you would get a standard attack or damage power off of them. So if your attack for Thanos is an 11 and the helicopter has a printed 0, he now has the 11 and the 4 for Thanos. So it's basically like a big piece of body armor that he's wearing using the helicopter's movement powers and defense powers, and he's just running around blasting.
That's awesome.
So,
I love unique stuff
in
like that.
yeah. So
Jamie or Antonio, what did you find that you stood out to you?
There was a team in the silver that said defend the hammer, and it's just a bunch of characters that I enjoy. Mainly three characters that I really really like playing. One is Iron Hammer at full. I'm a fan of playing like figures at their full point value. So Iron Hammer at full, Ghost Rider, which is one of my favorite figures in the game, just because he gets rid of a lot of the nonsense in the game. With the Warlock sword, Arachnite, which is one of the coolest Spidey costumes. Spidey's my guy, so Arachnite is easily one of the best figures I've ever made, period, in the game, pound for pound for what he does. He was at 60 points with the Soul Sword, which I would never play him with because it's so nasty to hit him to a stop click and then just have him heal back. But Captain America on horse, everybody knows him with Skybreaker. Blah. That's the only piece where I wouldn't personally play that because I just feel like getting rid of defensive powers altogether is just so filthy. But it is what it is. Scott Porter at 25 points. I think it's the black shirt one and Prime Hulk with the motorcycle. So Prime Hulk, of course, you start him at 10 points. He breaks stuff and he gets to heal up. And if you have that cast of characters playing with Prime Hulk, then he wouldn't necessarily be the person that they're trying to hit. And with all of that power around you, defense sharing and attack buffing, thanks to the Scott Porter and the Avengers team ability, that just looked like a very very fun team. I probably would have tried to. They on the sideline they had Blade for the pilot along with Ghost Rider. They had a Stark Industries for War Machine, which meant that was white shirt Scott Porter and Cathan on the side. So that could have either went on Arachnite or it could have went on. It could have actually went on a few different people. But I absolutely love teams like this. Again, as soon as I saw Iron Hammer at full, I was like, chef's kiss. So I love stuff like that.
Nice.
What team was that?
It's called
What was
Defend
the name of the team?
and Richie Lizando is the name of the of the game. And shout out to him. He got up there, but shout out to him for making what I look at as a very fun team. I would have put something on Iron Hammer to bump up his super senses, to make you pay for missing them. But yeah, that's a very very powerful cannon if you can set it up right.
Awesome. That does sound cool. What did you
Mm-hmm.
find, Jay?
So I found a team just named as Guardians, but it's an Avengers team run by Craig Shelton, and it was in the Silver World Championship. It's the biggest point sink in there is the War of the Realms store number 56 with the Captain Carter shield, who already has an 18 that he's sharing out then. But the team's Thor with the Captain Carter shield, Hawkeye with the power gem, which that's nasty.
Yes, it is.
Saki with cloak, which is normal. Green Man, which I was surprised there was no avatar for him, but Green Man, the team up Cap from the Kooky Quartet, Scarlet Witch, Scott Porter, White Shirt Scott Porter, Weasel, and Timebreaker, and this looks like a really fun team overall. Just running a bunch of adventures with Green Man thrown into the mix. Um, the sideline has the Destroyer on there, which is pretty fitting with trying to make it an Avenger as Guardian base. Um, yeah, that's really like this team. Um, Silver Age World Championship. run by Greg um, Craig Shelton at number 54.
Nice, nice. So the one I picked out, well, actually, Scott picked it out, and I liked it so much that I stole it. Well, he gave it to me. Um, Number 49, Rylan Hurd, which also their screen name is Rypool, which that sells me right there. No Deadpool fan.
You
Um,
know, it's funny. I was actually looking at that team as well as one that I really like.
yeah, it's really cool. It's called the Jar of Demons 3, which, okay, of all the things that HGNS does so well, my favorite thing is the names of the teams. I probably spend more time thinking about the name of the team than actually building the team itself. I love that feature. It is so
It is
cool.
fun. Yeah.
So, this team has like most of my favorite figures in silver. They place 49th. Uh, it is Beast from AFFE with the Reality Gem, Blue Beetle with the Power Gem, then Soldier Supreme with the Darkhold, which, oh my goodness, I am the biggest Soldier Supreme fan. I love the Soldier Supreme.
Or the Supreme is good.
Saturnine with the Bloodstone, and good old Phoenix Faust with the Spin Ring. And then Jennifer Kale, Madison, and Lucas PJ Scott Pog. Um, Man, this is just like put a bunch of really awesome stuff together on one team and see what it does. It is themed mystical. Um, Phoenix or Felix Faust with the spin ring is just that's like gold right there. And then you attach Soldier Supreme. I just I don't know exactly how he played it, but I just love the combination of some of my favorite characters.
Soldier Supreme is very sneaky good.
It
I've seen
is.
him played in some games for the national championships in Canada and stuff like that. I saw a match and I was like, I'd have him, but I'd never really use him like that. And to see what he does, he's great. He's a great figure.
I had a really hard time playing him at his lower dial when he was modern. Just because I'm like, yeah, if he's built to be played at full power, I like playing him at full power if I can.
I'm at
But
full, man. Try it
he,
out.
I ran him with Felix Faust and Saint. Who is the Blue Lantern?
Saint Walker.
Saint
Nick
Walker.
Walker.
Saint
I, I,
Walker.
I ran Saint Walker with the empowerment from range on Soldier Supreme, and it was a killer combo. But I love
Yeah.
the way he can just dodge attacks and heal people at the same time.
Yep. It's very good. Very good.
Um, so I want to talk a minute about Heroclix for Heinz. It just finished. Um, Scott Crankton went home and went immediately to his wedding. So congratulations to Scott Crampton, and thank you for still showing up and uh, supporting a good cause. Scott Porter, uh, whatever you like about his think about his acting career or anything about him, he loves his family. He has put so much energy and time and sacrifice into this cause just because he loves his family and how this disease is affecting him personally. I just think that is awesome. Um, I was a little disappointed in the drama that followed it after the event with the auction because people were upset that someone was bidding on multiple items and he wasn't bidding on his items for himself. He was bidding on them for the international Players Foundation, which is another great cause.
Yeah.
And it's an auction, man. Like, the guy's doing whatever he wants with his own money, and he's buying from a charity to give to another charity. I don't think there's anything less selfless than that, or more selfless than that. I just think that's amazing, and he should be applauded, not criticized. And I was a little embarrassed by that. But the rest of the event, I think, was amazing, and everybody that was able to go, I wasn't able to go just for financial reasons, but if you were able to be there, I applaud you. If you contributed to the online charity, I applaud you there. Um, and in November, when Red, White, and Clix rolls around, I hope that everybody does the same thing again. So that's what I would say about that. What else we got next on the agenda, Scott?
Oh, and an overview of Smash and Destroy figures by common, uncommon, and rare. So the idea is that we've had almost a month to play now with the pre-releases.
Yep.
That we should all have a pretty good grasp on what we think is fun, not necessarily what is competitive. So we were just gonna each pick out a figure and go over it for the 100th time. But after you've had some experience with it, because I mean, just because I don't know, I think the excavator guy, he's on my list of the top 3 from the commons, but I don't know if I'd pick him as my first piece. But his dial, he's got a nice long dial for his 30-point value. So sure, let's go with excavator first. I'm going to take him. I don't know if he was on any of y'all's lists, but
He was not on mine.
he's not great. But for 30 points, man, he's a tie-up piece, and he can take some damage. So I mean, he gets that 4 damage at the end, so he's swinging for the fences with a 9. But for 30 points, yes, I'll take one on my team.
I have heard rumblings about him.
He's perfect to go with Wrecker. He's a perfect ally to Wrecker, 1000%.
Now, I have heard people talking about him. I think he is one of those sneaky ones that will fit onto teams that nobody's really talking about out of the gate because he's not super shiny and broken, but I think he might fit onto a lot of teams.
I mean, he's 30 points. He's 6 clicks of life. He's invulnerability for 2 clicks and then toughness the rest of the way. Granted, his attack isn't anything special, but it's just the depth of the dial. Okay, if I'm a line of fire guy, I can block your line of fire potentially, or I can tie you up and make you chew through me before anything else happens to my guys I want to do stuff. So, I mean, for 30 points, it's a lot harder to kill than 3 Moloids.
Well, and look at how much of the game right now, right this minute, is centered around non-debris tray markers. So it's anti-plants, it's anti
barrier.
Yeah, right. There's
water,
all kinds of stuff.
Anti-traps.
Yep.
Yeah.
People bringing those in, spending points for it. Cool. Here's some free points for me.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. That's a good call. What you got, Jay? Or Antonio? Sorry.
I got the Los Diablos officer as probably one of those comments that kind of stood out, like ones that other than everyone loves Absorbing Man, all that jazz, but that Los Diablos guy sees through elevated, sees through hindering, 6 range, which in today's game 6 range is really good actually. And when you hit with that, you hit with the range.
Shield or PD?
Say that again.
Shield or PD?
PD.
Shield or PD?
He's got PD, and on top of the PD, when he hits the people with that power action, what you also do is you give that hit character 2 action tokens, which is crazy, and an action token to everyone that's adjacent. So if you have people huddled up, just to be able to slow a team down and cause people to have to either roll leaderships or willpowers, and he has leadership and willpower on his own with an 11 attack to start. At 30 points, the same as Excavator. He plays a different role, and once he gets hit, he himself then gains Psychic Blast and Enhancement enhancement with PD and being able to just ping people a little bit too. For 30 points, that guy is absolutely amazing as a common. That's a great common for sure.
Yeah, 30-point leadership is nothing to laugh at. Like, there's not a lot. I'm trying to look at how much leadership's in the set right now, but I know it's
It's a good
not a
amount.
lot.
You don't think so? I thought there was a good amount of leadership because you got Ross in there, you got Cap in there. I thought Cap had leadership. I know Stinder has leadership. Um,
Okay,
like
there's a good amount, I guess. There's
yeah,
one, two,
it's a good
three,
amount.
Lenny,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Yeah, it's a good
12,
amount.
and then 2 legacies. So yeah, that's a fair amount actually. I stand corrected.
But still, 30 points for leadership is still it's. I like my support to do more than one thing, and he does more than one thing, which I appreciate. You know, I appreciate that.
Yep, he's definitely the cheapest leadership in the set.
Him and Lenny, him and
Yep.
Lenny are the cheapest. Lenny has empower and leadership, and he eventually gets the enhancement and has leadership. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're the two cheapest for sure.
it's important to look at some of these figures that don't jump out at you, and you actually kind of got to think about it a little bit because there are some hidden gems if you really dig into these figures a little bit. There's some hidden ones in there. All right, Jay, what do you got, genius?
I got Thori. I love dogs. This guy for 30 points at low points, and then even at high points to 50, he's a beast, and he will hit way above his point value. Um, the one of the seals that I got to play him with, he took down a cinder by himself. Um, and I played him at 30 points. The other person had played their Cinder at low points too, but that's double his point value, and he still survived after that. So like that cinched it for me. He's my favorite common in this set. The fact that he starts off with 10 attack that you get help with Avengers and his trait, or not trait, his attack power, being able to go up to a 12, he's just super solid. And he's also got some really good keywords too, as Guardian, Avengers, Animal, Monster. Solid all around. And then at 50, he just gets better.
Yeah, I agree with you so much that he was actually on my list. Um, so I have a second one, but I also want to comment on him that he's not unique, and his trait is not once for all characters with his trait. So you can stack Thori with different masters, or you can put 2 Thories with 1 master. You can stack it however you want, and you can get a lot of mileage out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he was on my list.
All right, so mine was my other one, since Jay stole mine, is good old Ant Man 005.
Great, he's great.
I
He is great.
I was in love with that. Was it the Legacy one from 60, or
60.
was it Avengers
I think it
Forever?
was Avengers 60. I think it was Avengers 60,
Yeah,
the legacy one,
yeah.
where he's riding on the ants. Yeah.
That one was severely underappreciated. Like, oh my goodness, the utility for his points was insane. And this
Yeah,
is
for
a
25 points, he was good.
yeah, this is a less impressive version of that, but it still does the same thing of just giving adjacent friendly characters tiny, and then they can move through blocking. Um, with empowerment, he's
Without
got
destroying it.
stealth. Yeah, destroy it. Yeah,
No,
like
no,
Yeah.
without destroying it, which is
Without
even
destroying
better.
it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so you can just move your friendly character can move through a wall. They can carry him and have him power, and he's in stealth, and then he goes to perplex if he does get tapped, and combat reflexes. Like he's for 30 points, he's an excellent support piece, I think. Anytime you can adjust the size of your friendly characters, I think deserves a look. Now, here's my
Being able
question.
to move through blocking is being able to move through blocking in a game where barrier all these people make barriers for free. All these maps have walls and stuff like that. Being able to just slip through essentially somebody's defenses for 30 points and bring along a really good tie up piece, 20 up close with 11-3 for 30 points that goes into precision with perplex. Like, it's really good.
Now, which
Yes, it
character
is.
was
And
it
he's
that
wild card, so just take whatever team you want.
was that?
And he's a
Wild
wild
card.
card, so you can just take
Yeah.
whatever team ability you want or need.
Which character was it that everybody was complaining about because they can move through walls and then put the wall back up behind them?
Um,
Is that Giant Man?
Maybe?
I think it's Giant Man. Giant Man that's in this set, or
Yeah.
it's Giant Man, or Giant Man. He can rebuild debris.
Right. So what's the difference? Because everybody got really upset about that. They're like, that should not exist in this game. Okay, what's the difference between that and Ant-Man can just go through the wall? The wall's there either way.
I mean, there's nobody that rebuilds stuff like that in the game, like Giant Man. But there's tons of people that say or there's tons of either people that have improved movement, or there's been other things where it says like, oh, She-Hulk can stand on the other side of the wall and punch,
Right.
and ignore the wall, or other people. There's tons of that. We had a Vision that did that ignored walls and stuff like that. So we've had that before. We've had people ignoring walls for movement. There was a kitty that allowed you to do that. There was another person from one of the, what was that, the Great Lake Avengers, that allowed you to walk through the wall and stuff like that. So we've
Doorman.
had, Dorman.
It's
Yep.
Doorman. Yeah.
So we've had that before, but never somebody that puts up a wall. But at this point, it's 2025.
Yeah.
They have to do different. So like, send everything.
I don't see the difference
if we've
between.
had Switch, send everything.
I don't see the difference between phasing through a wall or crashing through the wall and rebuilding it. The end result is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have had one person that does rebuilding of the wall, and it was way back in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It was a shield agent, and you could give him a power action to remove an adjacent debris
Rebuild the wall. Yeah.
marker and rebuild it. But that set was so long ago. We've not had anything like that since.
Yeah.
He pairs Goliath and Ant-Man pair really well together.
I want to look at this Giant Man. I want to look up. Is it a free action that he does that?
It's Goliath, and no, it's a power action that he does that. But if you've got Lenny on the team, he does it as a free action.
So that could be part of the too. Is
And-
that Beetlejuice could shut down a free part of it? I guess.
Sure, but then
Yeah.
you can still do it as a power action, and you're fine.
Yeah.
True.
Now, does anybody have any disagreements about anybody else's pick for the rare or the common?
No, actually, I had Ant-Man and Thor on my list. So
Yeah.
I
I
One
thought
that I'm
one of y'all was gonna say Hawkeye for sure. I was like, somebody's gonna say Hawkeye or Thor. I knew somebody was gonna say Thor.
I was surprised nobody said Absorbing Man, considering the different versions of him that we have, and there's so much versatility there.
he's been
I
said
thought
too
somebody
much.
would. I tried to pick piece. My pieces are pieces that I think the average player wouldn't look at. That's why I chose the little guy. So
Yes.
you can't
feel like-
ignore Absorbing Man.
Absorbing Man's stats are not what it needs to be. Like, that's not an Absorbing Man dial. Any of them.
That's
But
why you gotta
he's
start
a
with the
common.
fire.
At 75 points.
The fire one is 12-4 with running shot. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
With-
it's solid, but I don't know. The chase one, not good. I didn't like him.
And
Yeah,
it eats up too much of your sideline. Sideline is a premium these days.
As somebody who's looking at this from a more casual side, I think he's fantastic for it.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can give him at least two. You could give him at least two slots in a sideline and be A-okay, I think. But Yeah.
Okay, shifting focus Batman or absorbing man? Which one do you think is the better version of the shifting focus?
They
It's
do
not fair
treat it.
because Batman can pick what he wants, and then shifting focus absorbing man has to have certain triggers to go off.
Ah, good point.
Yeah,
So
they do
Batman
different
is
things.
superior.
Yeah, yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. And then Batman does more for a team than Batman can be a team friendly guy. He can be a puncher in the face guy. He can be a range guy. He can be a taxi guy. Absorbing Man literally just adapts to. This is probably the most comic accurate Absorbing Man because it reacts to exactly how the fight is going. Oh, you hit me with an object, tink. Now I turn into ooh. Oh, you shot me with this. Oops, I turn into this. So this is the most comic accurate Absorbing Man we've ever gotten.
I
You
was
know, he's
just
not
gonna
necessarily
say
my
that.
He's not my
It's
favorite Absorbing Man. That's the Chase from Captain America and Avengers is my favorite Absorbing Man, but this Absorbing Man is absolutely. I didn't pick him because I knew like I just again I thought people would. I thought one of y'all might pick him. I love this Absorbing
No.
Man though. He's great.
thematically, I
Best
agree.
absorbing
He
man,
is fantastic.
the best
Yeah.
absorbing man is the Invincible Iron Man LE, the
I
one where
mean,
you have
yeah.
to hit double or you have to
Yeah.
roll to hit. Yeah,
Sure. That's a I was this close from sculpt swapping that one because that sculpt is so good. Him swinging the so it's just like no because I still might want to play that figure, so I'm not gonna take the sculpt off the dial. Like nope, and keep it.
I have two of that Chase Absorbing Man, and I have two of that
Do it.
Invincible
Just go
Iron
do
Man
it.
one. I think I
Just
have
do
to
it.
do it now.
Just
I
do
didn't
it.
even think about that.
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, man. That makes the chase that much better. Which I mean I love that chase, man. I think he's great. I also think he's a pretty good figure. Taking a maximum from those two keywords, deity and mystical, which is super heavy in the game right now. Taking one damage is really really good, and I think if you actually play him, if you were just to play the chase just the way that most people play an average figure that they want to be an attacker, either adding a motorcycle. You add a motorcycle to him, and there you go. You got something good now. You got,
I would
or whatever you
I
want.
would probably give him the Hell Cycle instead.
Mhm.
But yeah, aside from just those two keywords, also taking the equipped characters and taking maximum one from them, that's again how I know there's not a lot of equipment in modern right now, but the ones that are there are used pretty frequently. Yeah. The trick arrows pop up pretty often.
Plus
The
one
Hell
long sword.
Cycle motorcycles, yeah, all of those add up really quickly to help
Yeah,
protect him.
yeah. I enjoy him a lot.
Now, I have a
What was
question
y'all?
for you guys, because the three of you have way more experience than I do. This absorbing man uh, is a common figure with a chase rarity version of it,
Mhm.
but it doesn't seem like it's been a chase rarity because I've heard everybody say they have the chase one, but nobody has the water one. Like, I feel like there's a
Mhm.
lot of, for being a chase rarity, there's a lot of them out there.
I mean,
It took me far too long to get the fire one rather than the water one. And that's with multiple cases opened.
I think
missing the
Wizkids
timing.
has a history of making whatever figure they want rare. Back when the Superman set came out, there was a Ursa who was the rarest figure in the whole set. Rare, and she was a rare. You know, there was she was the rarest figure in the set to pull, based on like pull rates. We've had like when Madroxes and stuff like that, where you would only pull one in a whole case, one or two in a whole case, and he was a common. So that stuff has spilled over to to the different rarities, especially when the call for him to be a chase probably came at the last minute, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen that before where the character was supposed to be this rarity, but they got bumped down, or a character that was a lower rarity got bumped up. We saw that in different sets in the past. So I think that the reason why you see more of that Absorber Man, not only is because there's so many, but also probably because he got the chase stamp right at the very end, more than likely. You know?
What's your thoughts, Scott?
I mean, I can agree with what Antonio was saying about the how stuff gets bumped around and that it can change at the end. Um, I pulled him in sealed, and he was not good in sealed at all. There's not enough equipment. There's not enough of the mystical or deity to really matter for him in sealed. But overall, he's a fair piece to play. Um, I any equipment against him is a bonus for him. So I mean, he's good. Is he great? Nah. Does he deserve the chase tag? I don't think so.
That's my second question. Is it worthy of a chase rarity? Super rare,
What
maybe.
is what is realistically every set has at least quote unquote one dud chase if we're being honest, right? Most sets have at least one chase where someone's like, why is this a chase? And definitely we have at least one super rare every set where you're like, why is this super rare? I think now that's hard to do. I stopped as much as I still I try not to think about it that way. I think it's doing it a disservice because it's supposed to, like, Freya isn't a chase level figure to me. Just the fact that she dies 3 times, like, that could be a super rare, or realistically it could be a rare. Like, for what she does isn't a chase level to me. That's not, because Constantine kills Prob too, and he's just a super rare, you know. And I like Constantine more for what he does. So I think for me that's a hard question. Like, does it equal a chase? Because we had, say, like the Invincible Iron Man set had a whole plethora of Iron Men that didn't do anything that was. They had one that was chase worthy. The other ones, nobody really played those things, and they were cool figures, but they weren't. I think when I hear the word chase worthy, I think that akin to like broken, you know, or overpowered or undercosted for what it does. And I don't think a figure needs to be that to be like a chase level. You know, that's how I look
I'd
at it.
agree with that. Um, so Scott, what was your rare pick?
Um, I don't know. I have several. I don't know if anyone else has some backups.
Go
Are
for
we
it.
So
Go for
skipping
it.
uncommon?
um, uncommon. Yeah, we're
Oh,
picking
uncommon. I'm
uncommons too,
sorry.
and
I'm skipping ahead.
rare.
Uncommon was hard, man. Uncommon was harder
Nah,
than rare.
uncommon was.
No.
I enjoyed the uncommons because okay, I'm gonna go with Primus as my uncommon because of the way he can affect your team with drop off teams. It's like, nah, you're not gonna bring those guys into the area.
Which is
So
huge.
sorry, y'all back
Huge.
up. It's like Unis the untouchable, but without getting blocked. So at 60 points, great. At 100 points, I mean, those extra 3 clicks for 40 points, you get a lot of perplex out of it, get more mileage out of it. But I mean, just for the ability to stop you from getting bombarded is huge. I'm going with Primus.
Primus is good, man. He's unclicks too, which make that pick even better. I'm a fan of unclicks, man. He's unclicks, so yeah, Primus is great.
What was yours, Ant Man?
Um, it was hard, like I said. Realistically, it's kind of like it was between Brune and General Ross, because Brune does something that free actions are rampant in the game now. So you mean to tell me now within 6 squares, you do a free action. Now I just get to place myself right next to you. Oh, you perplex? Sweet, I'm over here. Oh, you sidestep? Good, I'm here now. Not only I'm here, but me and all of the Desir are there. What? Huh? Oh, and we all get +1 to our dice roll, our D6 rolls. So 4 through 6 senses, 4 through 6 leadership, and +1 on my blades roll and my +1 on my breakaway rolls. Check please. She gets as she gets destroyer for free. So you have just a walking tank that's a 20 defense, super senses. I mean, that would end up making it a 2 through 6 willpower. Yes, please. It's she's a monster and she's a mystic, which regen, +1 on my regen roll too, so she could potentially heal all the way back up to full. If she rolls a 5 or 6, she can heal back up. It was between her and General Ross. Realistically, General Ross is filthy, filthy,
General Ross
filthy,
is dirty. General
filthy,
Ross is so dirty.
filthy. So you can just show up to a game and be like, I just got General Ross. Hey, leadership. Guess what, General Ross? Here's a 25-point Star Lord. Star Lord, just go fight over there. Oh, 25-point soldiers. And we know there's going to be more low point characters in the game that have a soldier keyword. Go ahead and he can just crank them out. And he's shield, and he's TK, and he's leadership. What, like, he does so much. Like,
Okay, but
I love, again,
it's
I
all
love these
dependent
cheap
on a
pieces.
D6 roll, and I have a hard time with anything that is completely dependent on my single D6 rolls because I will miss every single one of them. I
You
played
gotta
Even
have
But
a
when it
I
hits,
like that, man. You gotta have some faith, boy. You gotta have some faith in there, man. You gotta, gotta have
even
experience.
outside your
faith
D6
in
role,
there.
he's mastermind. He's got the soldier keyword and politician, which are both pretty good. He's got the shield team ability, TK, and enhancement. He can sidestep to be able to get into position as he's need. Like he's super good even outside of that leadership. That leadership just puts him from good into the dirty area.
Being able to TK somebody's trap into their face is crazy. Oh, you put that snake pit over here? Sweet. Go ahead. Indiana Jones time. Bam. Like, let's. What are we talking about? Like, great.
Oh man, I'm not sold on General Ross. I played a meta
I hear you.
no,
player. I played meta
you're
player the other
wrong.
day that's like,
He's
I'm going to
great.
make you a believer in General Ross. And then General Ross
You know,
just sat there, gave his shield team ability, but that's all he did the whole game.
General Ross is
he
the reason
used
I was able to take
incorrectly.
down Destroyer super quickly. Him and Hawkeye just going, hey, cool, here's +2 to your damage. Now go wreck the shit out of the Prime Destroyer.
And plus 1 to your range too. Like, but Wes, I
Mm-hmm.
understand you and my friend feel the same way about. I love evasion pieces, right? So that's all D6 rolls. If you don't roll well on your single D6 rolls, I understand why someone wouldn't like any of these pieces. So I get it, 1,000%. Another reason why Brune is just ridiculous because she gives +1 to her in the Desir's D6 rolls. Yes, please.
See,
So
this is
those
what I
are mine.
wanted. This
That's
is what I
mine.
wanted. I wanted a discussion
So, quick
about
note
these.
on Brune. She has improved movement character, so you don't actually need to roll to break away. You just go, cool, I'm just going to go.
Oh yeah, that too. So even better. Like she's chefs. Free actions are everywhere. You mean to tell me, oh, you just use shield on me to range me? You want to use shield, so you shielded up Hawkeye's range. Great, we're over here now. Go ahead and fight. Let's see how that works for you.
Now,
Go ahead
she's
and fight.
50 points. Is she worth the 50 points in today's meta?
Yes,
Easily.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I don't know about the meta, but Brune is definitely worth those 50 points.
Okay, I agree.
And if you hit her, you're dealing with Mystic's damage.
She's great, man. I absolutely love this piece. I I love Brew. Whenever I think about somebody is a team like worth it, we all know that a piece that's good, certain pieces are made for sealed, and certain pieces are made for constructed. Absorbent Man's made for constructed play, right? He's not really made for sealed. You know, there are certain people that are just made for sealed play, and there are certain people that are made for constructed. Brune is made
She's both.
realistically for both. If you pull her by herself with no Desir, she's still good. If you pull her with even one Desir, are you kidding me right now? The Desir +1 to their blades with hypersonic? Yes, please. Ugh, I love it. I love it. Anyway, y'all go
Unless you're
ahead.
playing Primus. Primus says you're not coming next to me.
True. I mean, that's why I said Primus is a beast. Like Primus is so good. You are absolutely correct.
All right, Jay, what
Hold
you got
on.
for me?
No, hold on. Primus doesn't stop Desir because if you're doing a free action with Primus, it's your turn. And Desir, the Primus only cares
Oh, but
about
it's
when it's
not your
not your
turn.
turn. Yeah, so even if
Aha.
even if you're doing something with Primus, it's like great. I'm here.
Yep. Sidestep all you want to.
Very
Sweet.
true. Very true.
Like
Very
Ludacris
true.
said,
You
when I
got me.
move, you move. Just like that.
uh, well, I guess that goes into my pick, which is Toad. Um, he's got
Yes.
he's discount Spider-Man. And I say discount Spider-Man because of the trait Terrible Toad King leap climb three placed within four squares of a different elevation and line of fire. But being able one having plasticity to be able to knock to be able to tie people up with that 18 combat reflexes and being able to place next to them. My initial pick was General Ross, but behind him is definitely Toad, especially with enjoying to play Brotherhood of Mutants a little more recently.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
Toad
were
is a
talking
beast.
about Toad. A lot of people like Toad a lot.
And he's sticking around to poison you through the whole dial.
Yeah.
Now, is
Like he's
Brotherhood
just super
seeing a
good.
resurgence? Are we going to see more Brotherhood coming up?
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I honestly don't see why not.
This set got quite a bit of good Brotherhood support, especially with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Being able to go, oh hey, here's the Pog Scott Perplex on everyone, crit hit on a 10 through 12. That paired with her prob to be able to help you, like super good. Quicksilver saying, hey, you have the team ability, great, have that +1 attack. Like they're good support overall for Brotherhood.
And
Oh,
then you
and
have
And then the
then
Juggernaut.
in Perfect World,
Magneto
we
is
got
also just
X-Men 97
dirty.
coming up around World's time. So a lot of that stuff's going to pair well with this stuff.
Hmm. And just within the set itself, you also have the two juggernauts that both have the Brotherhood team ability. Like you can actually play a pretty solid Brotherhood team just within the set itself, and that's not including Troll, which has a personally I think a slightly better juggernaut.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I was split on my uh, one on this one. I want to say Scarlet Witch 19, just because I'm a sucker for prob control. I know, Scott. I know you hate prob control. I
Not
know,
prob.
but
It's a possibility.
6 clicks of prob, that's good. And then her trait of friendly characters that are adjacent or have Brotherhood critically hit on attack rolls of 10 to 12. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of pieces out there that trigger off of critical hits. And I'm looking at you, Wolverine Pool. So, any way to force that to happen, I'm always giving it a look. But she's 60 points for that. And I'm not sold on that. So, my actual pick is number 14, Cap. Um, the
I'm
19
about to say,
defend.
why is nobody picking Cap? Cap's a beast, man. Cap's a beast.
19 defend. Yes, I know the 19 is yesterday's 17 or whatever they say on the other podcast. But 19 is a 19. Like, in a set with everybody's mostly 17 and 18s, a 19 defend is pretty good with empowerment, with running shot, improved targeting through elevation, and should have adjacency. And then he's got the shield bounce trait. Once per turn, when Cap hits, after resolutions, he may make an attack as if he occupied the square of a hit target. Um, I'm always looking at anything that gives a free attack. And this is not a free action, it's a triggered action. So it's juice proof. And when I team build, I'm always looking for any way to get multiple attacks off. And I think this is a good one.
You know who he pairs really well with? General Ross.
Yes.
Touche. I applaud you, sir.
So Cap is the quintessential example of what I was just saying about like certain figures are made for sealed, certain are for constructed. Cap is perfect for seal play. Like he's a perfect seal piece. Like you said, in constructed play, so many ways to get, high 13, 14 attacks where that 19 isn't really scaring anybody. But when you don't have that, you don't have access to that generally in sealed, that 19 is going to, now that Scarlet Witch that you just said, now I got a 19 and I got probability control. All right, you might hit it once. You might hit the 8 once, but are you going to hit it again?
Right.
Easily. And just that, being able to add that and be able to add enhancement and be able to give Avengers team ability and, like you said, the shield bounce keyword. I played him in a constructed game where I gave him destroyer armor. So he was a giant walking around with a 21 defense. And then now I shoot you twice, and that was fun. It's fun.
And
So,
the
That's
11
good.
attack is not bad.
the game it's a dice game. So I never shy away from rolling dice. You know what I'm saying? I know in the meta game, it's all about like take the dice out of it as much as you can. But I love rolling dice. And if I gotta roll an 8 or even a 9, like I don't shy away from that.
Excuse you, sir. That is a 12 attack with that Avengers team ability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. And with General Ross, that's a 4 damage instead of a 3. Twice.
At 5 range.
And 5. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's a 5 damage with General Ross. Because General Ross will be
And
using shield.
You know, I
No,
don't
because
like.
only the first attack will be improved. The second one won't. Uh, yeah, first attack would be at 5 damage. Second one will be at 4 damage, which still pretty good
Yeah.
at 5 range.
You know, I don't like
Why wouldn't it be?
75 points.
It's because shield is for 1 attack, not for 2. Yeah.
The
I'll
75
take
points
it.
is hard to swallow.
Regardless, still a good point. Still a good combo.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
That hurts my soul, Wes, when you say stuff like that. 75 points is hard to swallow.
Look. Okay.
This
Scott
piece that you
Crampton's.
were talking about you wanted so bad, this piece that you said you wanted, that you were like, oh, Antonio, this piece, right?
Yes.
This piece. You know how much this piece cost back in the day when it came out? This piece cost 247 points.
I was close.
No split, 247. And the point value been 300 the whole time. So it kills me when people say, oh, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. And it's just like, so we want everything to be if we compare and I'm not saying that you're wrong for your opinion at all, but it just kills me whenever people say that, oh, that's too much, that's too much. When you're comparing everything to Prime Spidey or Saki Iron Man or Switch and stuff like that, as far as effectiveness, now we start to, that's why so many figures get ignored and pushed to the side, because they don't do anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like what this cap does, attacking twice, giving high defense and potential +1 attack to any wild cards, is good for what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good 75-point piece,
It's a good 75-point piece.
Well, one of my favorite questions that Scott asks on every episode is, can you turn it on and off between casual and competitive? I cannot.
Of
I have
course.
a very hard
Yes.
time turning off the thought process of, I need the cheapest, most cost-effective, broken pieces at all times. And when I go to my casual games, I am like having to nerve myself and play badly because I built such a competitive level team, because I can't flick that switch in my brain. And
You gotta take the blinders off, bro. You realistically, you gotta take the blinders off,
Yep.
bro. You have to take the blinders off, man. This game is, again, I'm sitting behind all these figures. The majority of these figures that are sitting behind me are not meta at all. You know what I'm saying? They're not. And again, if you pull out a Kevin is broken for what he does for the game. He should cost, if he was made back in the day, Kevin would have been at least maybe 150
125.
at least.
Yeah.
And he has 0 damage and 0 attack, but for what he does and how he can affect the game, it's pricey. But then you have a piece right next to him that's a chase that you have to kill twice, no one looks her way really. You know what I'm saying? Someone will say at 100 points she costs too much, but you have to kill her twice. And
Right.
there's ways to keep her around. Take the blinders off just so you can have more fun with the game. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
so you can have
my
more fun with it.
shout out to my local guys at Blue Moon Comics. They were just busting my balls this week because I was talking about team building and um, how hard it is to play competitively with the figures that you want to play with. And they're like, dude, you're the world's biggest Deadpool fan, and I've never seen you play a Deadpool. I'm like, yeah, it's hard because they're not good. I mean, some are okay, but
Hold
they're,
on, hold on, hold on.
yeah.
Antonio, do you remember me sharing the color system with you, the red, yellow, and green for
Yeah, yeah.
casual?
I think
That's
so.
designed
Yeah,
for people like Wes.
bro. Wes, even when you just said about the Deadpool, you don't like Iconic's Deadpool?
Um, I haven't really used him yet. I haven't fielded him. I think that he has the most potential. I think the unlimited arrows is awesome. I think he's overcosted.
Are you kidding?
You think a figure that has unlimited trick arrows, steal energy whenever he hits, and 2 stop clicks back to back with wild card, prob, and super duper senses if he teams up with his homeboy Spidey, which is tons of Spidey pieces that are great in the set. You mean to tell me that's overcosted?
Hey, I freely admit I am locked in competitive mode, and
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I
yeah.
hear you.
No, I
Paired
think
with
that
Bob, Agent of Hydra, and the team up. Suddenly, Deadpool can have the equivalent of 2 equipment.
if there was a Deadpool that would have a chance of breaking into the meta, I think that he has the biggest chance. I just think they did the Deadpools in the set dirty.
Hold
You didn't
on,
like
even the Empire Deadpool you didn't play,
which was amazing. He was amazing. That chase
right?
was amazing.
The
No,
Ultra
not the
Chase.
chase. I'm talking about I'm
Floaty.
talking about the
Oh,
rare.
oh, the blue one.
The floaty.
No, Empire, the one that generated Jeff, the bystander,
Oh,
was
the rare,
all the
rare,
sideline.
the rare where he's
Yeah, when a
holding Jeff.
monster of 75 is KO'd. A
Yeah,
King
but see,
Deadpool, the first King Deadpool.
Jay, nobody played him on the force, really. People played him on the sideline. People never really
And
played
that's
him
fine. That's a figure Wes could have played.
Floaty Deadpool was good just because of the way he made water and protected you.
Floaty Deadpool was also super good.
Floaty
Yeah.
Deadpool was great. For 40 points per Plex and I shield my whole team up, we can just move around. But
I will
again,
say Empire was
do
right
anything
at the
broken.
beginning of my career, so I was not a good player at that point. Some would say I'm still not a good player, but I like this
I don't know,
conversation.
man. I don't know.
So-
I love it.
So there's an uncommon that we didn't mention that I feel like needed a little shout out is Black Ant. I feel like he has just the longevity of being able to keep healing.
Yep.
So, shout out to
Black
Black
Ant is
Ant
good.
because I feel like he should have been someone's list potential.
Also, Quicksand. Quicksand's my baby. Ooh, Quicksand. With these brutes, I give ESD to these brutes. Yes, please.
In
Ooh.
sealed, great figure.
Jay, I'm gonna put you on the
Yeah.
spot. Do you have a joke for us tonight?
Oh gosh. Right off the top of my head, no, but
Okay. Give us some thought.
give me a couple minutes.
All right. Let's move on to the rares. What we got, Scott?
I'm gonna go with. I don't know. There's a couple of them that I really, really, really like. I probably go with Debris. I mean, I feel like the point cost again is just like, hey, she's not broken, but what she does is like, I'm just gonna rearrange these terrains and deal damage from it, and then enhancement on top of it. She's got a lot of stuff that I like on her dial. Now,
And she's a
squishy,
PK piece.
but yeah,
She got traded
she's
toughness.
squishy.
She got traded toughness. It helps. Helps.
But yeah, I'm going with
And
Debris.
she's a soldier with enhancement that helps out Cap.
That 75-point cap.
Yeah.
Just saying. She's good. If she was 10 points cheaper, General Ross could generate her. Okay.
Well,
She's great.
he couldn't because she's unique.
What people don't
Oh,
consider
yeah.
how good debris markers are, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't place any kind of terrain marker on top of debris, correct?
So you can't place
Blocking
barrier
terrain? No.
markers on top of debris. But you can't place blocking, but other markers you can.
Yeah, other markers you
Which
can.
is
You can't place it you can't place them like yeah, you can't because again, I've done it with Swamp Thing all the time where Swamp Thing puts a you know, a grass terrain or whatever, a swamp terrain on debris.
Plant.
I've done it. And if you drop an object is terrain. So, and you can drop that on debris.
Okay, so just stops people from making barrier.
Yeah,
Yeah, blocking of any kind, but yes.
yes.
Okay.
It's like water too. You can't make barrier on water, but you can make it on smoke. Smoke on the water. I like debris.
Yeah, I like
This
her.
set could have been called Marvel Snap because all these Marvel Snap, if anybody plays Marvel Snap, all these Marvel Snap characters that were big in the game got made in this set, which I absolutely love. So
Okay, I have a confession to make. I tried Snap for one day and it bored me to tears, and I never played it again. I'm sorry.
I stopped
I
playing
haven't
on
played
time
it.
ago, but yeah, it's a great game.
I haven't played it in about 4 months, but I enjoyed it when I played it. But then I'm just like, it's the same stuff over and over.
It just wasn't
That's
my
why I
cup of
stopped
tea.
playing. That's why I stopped playing it, Scott. It was the same stuff. You knew what cards were
Yeah,
coming, and it just got boring. But
yeah.
characters
And
like
Shang-Chi
Debris
would mess
were
up
big. In the,
your whole thing.
I love.
Shang-Chi would mess
I,
up any
Yeah, I
time
haven't
you're
played
trying
in
to
a
play.
while.
I love Shang-Chi for that very reason. We need a Shang-Chi that does that. That if he attacks the highest point character on the opponent's force, he can do something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like call it slaying the dragon or something like that. Like he should have the next Shang-Chi should have something like that. That's based on like
Now
Marvel.
there's some crazy combos in Marvel Snap that you could pull out. You had Black Panther that would get to double his attack value, and Odin get to trigger it twice, and if you had Wong, and
Oh
then it would
my
trigger it
god.
like 4 times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you could have a ton
I
of
love it.
attack on that. But
All right, so brain
all right,
trust
so Jay,
here. Nerds are the round. Nerds are the round table. I said I wanted to keep it to an hour. I'm having a ton of
we
fun.
already passed that.
If you guys want to keep going, we can keep going, or we can cut it short and come back another time. What say you?
I'm
I'm
good to
going to be
go.
going a little bit longer.
Okay.
Send it. Send it.
All right.
Hey,
Antonio.
what do you get when you take off Iron Man's armor? Stark naked. Hey, hey, why did Captain America wait so long to pick up the Mjolnir? He didn't want to steal Thor's thunder.
Send it.
All right. Antonio,
Meaning
what you
got
got
to the
for me?
It's got to be Rhino. Oh my gosh, Rhino is it, man. Rhino, come on. Rhino is the perfect constructed or sealed piece. Rhino makes the chases from the Spider-Verse set that we just got all amazing, given all of the Sinister Syndicate charge. He makes the characters that you pull, which are a ton of characters in seal play, better with +1 on his charge and on their charge. And he has charge traded his whole dial, which means he gets to just have pretty much like a blank dial that gives him flurry and sidestep and stuff like that. Of course, in constructed, he can have +1 longsword for free. The fact that he has ruler keyword is crazy to me. I was like, what? But I'll take it. I absolutely love this dial at 75 points. I'm never playing him at 50 because I want the flurry and I want the high I want the high defense. And I actually like I just like those extra couple clicks I think are worth it to me. I think those are worth 25 points. So that I like this Rhino so much, I needed 3 of them. One so I could sculpt swap onto the Sinister set sculpt where he's horn down running, and the other one so I could sculpt swap for the ultimate where the Ultimate Rhino, where he's just like, you know, in that suit. So
That's an
I
awesome
love,
sculpt.
right? It's a shame that so many great sculpts came out where the dials weren't as great as they are now. The game, I think, is the best it's ever been, and this Rhino is the quintessential example of like what happens when you've made a figure over and over again and a new way to make them. This Rhino is amazing. I absolutely love him.
I
I
agree.
feel like the sculpt was made more for Abomination.
It was. It was.
Okay, let's be honest here.
That's why I saw Fly.
The Wizkids crew worked overtime on the dials, and they kind of went on vacation on the sculpts on this one.
I don't know.
You
Some of
know,
the
Nah,
sculpts are
the sculpts
actually
are still
still
good.
really good. Like if you look at Wave, the way that she's positioned, the way she's got the water behind her arms to show how she moves, the quickstand, the details on her, both versions of Hazmat. Like we've actually got some really good sculpt here. Desir and Brune having the details that they do. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't say that there were sculpts that had really missed opportunities.
Yeah, it's not Brave and the Bold sculpts.
it's close. You know what, Scott? It's close to me because Speedball is the one that gets me like right in the chest. Speedball is the one that's like, how dare you?
Okay,
How dare you do Speedball like that? Like
they
what I
could have done
learned.
some different stuff, but it's not standing waiting for the bus on
No,
everybody.
yeah, they're not standing waiting for the bus. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
All right, but if I
I did
see
manage to get myself two of the speedball and did the sculpt swap with the Fear itself one on one of them that I'm definitely going to be using for my locals.
if I
Yeah.
see the Hawkeye sculpt one more time, I'm going to scream.
Where he's just kind of just holding the bow instead of like actually look like he's using the bow. Hey guys, this is what I do. Did you know that I shoot things with this? Hey.
What you got for us,
You know,
Jay?
2 years ago, I learned about sculpt. I learned about plastic economy, right? From one of the people. I asked about that. I was like, why are all these sculpts not dynamic? I want dynamic sculpts. Like, what happened to the dynamic sculpts, right? Like, I'm an art guy. Like, that's what I want. And he was like, it's the A, with the economy being what it is, but like, it's all about how much plastic is used for all of these sculpts, which is, I think we're going to see this is just my thought. I think we're going to see a set based like this for Lantern Legacy, where like how we had the Wrecking Crew, which was 4 different characters, but it used essentially one sculpt. You know, I think we're going to see a bunch of that in the set where we have different lantern. It's the same lantern body, but it's different like heads and stuff like that. Or you see, say like Kilowog as a yellow lantern, Kilowog as a green lantern, you know, and that'll be like the AB. I think we're going to see a bunch of that in the Lantern Legacy set because
I'd
a
be
lot of
okay
these
with that.
lanterns essentially they have essentially like the same body type. You know what I'm saying? So a switching of a head or arm or something like that is easy and it's good plastic economy. You know,
I think the
that's just my
repaint would sell me on that. If they could just change up the paint job, I think I'd be okay with that. That feels like a resculpt or a different sculpt, even though it's the exact same pose. If it's just repainted,
when you look at the
You've also got to
Kilowog
take
sculpt,
into
you
account
see
the
the.
cost of.
what's that?
Go ahead, Jay. Go.
I was going to say you also have to take into account the cost of making the mold for each figure, right? So
Yeah,
you can have like a set like this where there's easily what 70 figures, 70 plus figures. Um, when you have to do a mold for each character and try to make it very dynamic, it's going to get expensive.
that's fair.
And ultimately, what ends up happening is those costs end up going to the consumer. We already have people complaining about, hey, cost of boosters too high, cost of boosters too high. When you take everything like this into the equation, the cost makes sense.
Yeah. What piece did
Because
you have
cost more.
for us on the rares?
So mine's a trio, and it's the Taskmaster. Now, before I go into why, when I'm picking a figure to play for a team, especially for casual, and that's where my mind was with most of the figures that I was picking. What I like to do is take something that I can sculpt swap into, and then have it, you know, retain the retain the same abilities as a character from something else. My most recent plays have been around Legend of Zelda, and I even got a link sculpt swapped it onto the Taskmaster from ABPI because it fits so well. Well, that was started before this Taskmaster came out, and now this one is perfect for that. I don't have the time to do all of the sculpt swapping and then getting all that done, but this Taskmaster works really well as a trio, being able to swap in between each other, and their power sets are also just really, really good as you for whatever you need at the time. The Taskmaster B with Destroyer wrecked my shit in two of the seals that I played in.
Nice.
And yeah, having played them as a trio, swapping between them, just super good all around. Being able to heal when you need is also just really good. I Yeah, this is like the quintessential Taskmaster to me.
Does it feel like Taskmaster to you?
I think the ABPI version feels a little bit more taskmastery, but again, when I'm looking at it in the thoughts of what can I have this represent, this one represents the different version that Link switches in and out of really well. And again, going with that thought process, to me, this one's just really good.
Yeah.
So Jay, this is my favorite Taskmaster, Sculpt, right? That's the one
Hmm.
from Empire, right? But it's on the
Yep,
base. It's on the base for the chase
for the chase.
from the Black Widow, because that is this dial is what Taskmaster represents to me. Like, oh, you can do that thing. I'm gonna be
I
harder
can
to
do
hit
too.
because I can do that thing too. Um, I love that Taskmaster. I don't love the shield one. I just don't like the fact that his attack value is a 10. That's all. Especially after seeing the Thunderbolts movie and seeing how you can still be, if you're supposed to be copying Cap, knowing what Cap does with his shield, and knowing that the attack values are high on the other two and so low on this one. That's the only thing that I don't like about this Taskmaster. Everything else I really enjoy about this Taskmaster.
And and that's fair. I'll give you that. The way I see it for that C dial is more he's on the defensive rather than the offensive. So that's why you have the ESD, the senses, the safeguard outwit, um, which to me seems perfectly fine for him, especially if you're being forced inside where you are being on the defensive. If I'm focusing on attacking, I'd probably go to A or B instead.
Word.
My Taskmaster was the Civil War Taskmaster, the one that says you can go to any click and then go back. Yeah, that
These
was
points are
ways
awesome.
ways to abuse that guy was great.
Yeah,
Nice.
those are
I
great.
really liked him with the oh gosh, what was his name? The one that gave +1 to all combat values for 35 points from the Wolverine and the X-Men set.
This kid,
Uh, no, he acted as an equipment. Um,
Huh. Wolverine and the X Men. 35 points. Wolverine and the X Men. You sure it was Wolverine and the X Men? Hmm. That was a great set, by the way. The chases in that set.
That's way
yes,
before
yes, it
my time.
was.
you're
Missed out
still a
on some
baby,
good
Wes.
sets, man.
Okay,
You missed out. You missed out on some good sets, good sir.
Well, I'm trying to
But you
catch
could have.
up. I have a closet full of random Silver Age stuff and some Golden Age actually that I'm slowly
It
catching up
doesn't.
on.
That stuff. I mean, that stuff that just doesn't play like it used to. Back when it was legal, it just doesn't play as good as it did. The point values are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I'm
got
thinking of
I got really
coins.
lucky a couple years ago. I found a store about an hour away that used to play Heroclix, and the guy just had a storeroom full of stuff that nobody was coming and buying anymore, and he was just taking up room in his storage room. And I came by, and he got me a really awesome deal, and I got like so much silver stuff. Like, it was unreal. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all that stuff. Um, for I won't. I gotta tell you, $50. He said, "You are." I want to go to somebody who's going to appreciate it. I think you'll appreciate it. $50. You can take all this stuff. And I walk out to the car with a hand cart of these huge, like 3 foot tall boxes. And my wife's eyes jumped out of her head. It's like, what did you spend?
Amazing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out 2 years too early. I think if that set would have been able to come out just 2 years later, it would be a whole different thing. It just would have came out just a little bit later.
And I'm going to speed through my rare because there's something I want to talk about with you guys before we have to sign off. But my pick was Goliath, the 28B. I just think he is a great pick. Like I said, anytime you can change your size or the size of your friendlies, he just hits like a brick, I think. Defend, just removing debris markers, and then this is the one that, because you can move through and then generate, like, it's just, I don't know. Is he broken? No, but I think he's really good for casual play. I would play this guy in casual.
He's fun.
I thought you said you can't do casual.
Okay. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard. I can't.
He did say
switch.
it was hard. He did say he did say it was hard, and he has an issue turning off his meta brain.
All right, so
what I'm surprised none of us mentioned is arcade.
Yeah.
Especially for constructed play. Like in sealed, he's hot garbage unless you pull traps with him. But in constructed, with being able to generate the arcade as well as the 2 trap terrains, being able to move them around, I think he can actually be quite a bit of fun.
What do you guys think about this combo that I started to toy with, and I landed on a completely different team? But the Chase Cap, the Colosseum one with arcade, because they're coming to you. So you place the traps so that they have to stand in the trap in order to attack you, and then you just wail on them.
I think the thing about arcade, first off, Colosseum Cap is great. I played against that figure this weekend. He's a monster. Just on his own, without the Colosseum things, he's just a great piece. Arcade, I don't like as a piece for various different reasons, but him, I think the thing about it is putting anything on the map that costs points and that can easily be destroyed, I think is it takes us back to how you used to have to put your objects out on the map, and then somebody could just come and snipe them and be like, "Oh, I'm up 5 points," and just sit back and like make you come to them. So I think that's the only thing that I don't like about arcade, is that what he generates costs points, and if it didn't cost points, then sure. But the fact that it costs points makes me like, I would never reach for this arcade over the arcade from X of Swords. Never. I would never reach for this arcade. Plus, he doesn't
Avengers
make
Assemble arcade.
Avengers Assemble arcade was amazing. He came with we need more figures like that comes with a corresponding map. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more stuff like that. He was amazing. That Murder World, that storyline that he came from, absolutely fantastic. But this is for as many, when you watch unboxings, when you watch everyone unbox stuff, they pull at least 3 or 4 arcades, like the robots, and he only generates 1. And he can't generate any more. So he reminds me of the Norman Osborn from Spider-Verse that we get. That's like, oh, the Goblin Army, and you only can generate 1 guy at the beginning. And it's like, whoa. Hold on, man. Like, why can't you generate any more? So this figure leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But that's just me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right.
Are we going higher, Wes, or no? Are we stopping at CUR stuff?
Just CUR.
Okay. I think the CUR overall is great.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody else talks about the super rares and the chases. I want
Yeah.
to talk about stuff that not everybody else is talking about.
Yeah.
The question I really wanted to get to tonight, that I was thinking about when I was at my in-laws today having barbecue.
Nice.
Did you guys see the poll that I posted on my Discord today?
Yeah, your Scott Porter question, your figure for Scott
Uh,
Porter.
not Scott Porter.
No, go ahead and ask.
The
I didn't see it, so go ahead and
Beetlejuice.
ask it.
So Beetlejuice has been a very contentious piece since he was revealed. Um, People are one extreme or the other. He's fine. He's here. Deal with it. To Miles Kane and Ryan Redmond, who think that he is the detriment of the game, worst thing ever. Um, Before I ask you guys your thoughts, I want to state that whether you like the piece or not, I think there's a negative connotation of people who use the piece. He is a legal figure, whether you agree with what he does or how he does it. He is legal and modern, and I think that players who are using him the way he was intended to be used should not be looked down upon for doing what it was made for. Now, that being said, what are your guys' thoughts on Beetlejuice, Scott?
Um, the ability for the call in. So if you're, I'm going with him on the sideline, of course. So for me to be able to be like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, and then wait until I need him to come in, I feel like that's kind of a touchy subject because I feel like if you're gonna call him in, you're gonna call him in. Like let's get him in right now.
Yeah.
So the autonomous figures calling him in feels a little cheap, but hey, they're abusing the system that's given to them, so go for it. Again, I feel like you should call him in one turn instead of just like holding that carrot in front of him and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna do it whenever you don't want me to."
Yeah, I think that that's something
Um,
that they should out of that. It has to be sequential. You can't just do part of the call and then not finish it.
well, the thing about it being sequential is that you only have three actions in most games unless you're running a leadership or you have some other way to augment your actions. And if you're not running it on autonomous, then that's your whole turn is to call him in.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna have to get someone a damage and not really do anything for the turn that you've called him in.
And that's the
The
balance that he needs, I think.
the free action nerfing, I think, is fine. I feel like if you can play the game without free actions, then congratulations, you might be a better player than someone that has to take a ton of free actions. I mean, you've understood the game with the free actions, and you understand the game without the free actions. So go for it. Um, Keeping him on the map really hurts your opponent, but you're also potentially giving up those 100 points depending upon where you are on the dial. Sorry, guys, if I'm taking y'all's talking points on him.
So, are
Um,
you okay with a player in a competitive setting? I want to stipulate that this is not casual. I'm talking about Origins, Worlds. In a competitive setting, they bring out Beetlejuice and they leave him on the board. Do you consider that a dick move?
no, not at all. Because odds are they're going to be giving up a pog or they're going to be hurting their own figures for me to have a chance to kill him next turn.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's taking away perplex, prob, attack stuff whenever you're charging or running shot, sidestep, poison. So he's taking away some of the essential stuff that a lot of people use. But if you play your team or you build your team right, that is kind of fringe stuff that you can work around. I think.
Mhm.
All right. Antonio.
Um, Beetlejuice is one of the most uh, accurate pieces ever made in the Heroclix. Beetlejuice does exactly what Beetlejuice is like his source material does. You have to call his name 3 times. He comes on and he just wrecks stuff, not only for the people that called him out, but also for the people that he's called out for. That's accurate, right? So I love the game first based on the source material. So based on the source material, like he's great. Based on what you're asking, as far as like, is it a dick move? It's not, because we lived through Scarlet Witch, we lived through cop cars, we lived through Heroes for Hire,
Heroes for
Ghost
Hire.
Rider. We lived through
Zombie team base.
we zombie team base. We've lived through worse things, realistically. The issue that Beetlejuice brings up is the game keeps making figures like Beetlejuice doesn't exist, right? Look at some of the figures that I was just talking about. Oh, well, Brune and Desir work off of free actions. So nerfing free actions map wide is bad for the game, right? That I think that's bad for the game because we've never had a thing that says, hey, this thing that everyone has a free action on is going to have at least one on their team. Everyone generally is going to have it. Generally, Perplex is a free action. Outwit's a free action. So two of the three powers that everyone says to build around are take up free actions
But
to
is
use.
that
So
why they made Beetlejuice? Because they knew that everybody
no,
has free actions, and this is a
no,
way to make them build differently.
I don't know because it doesn't. It hasn't. It's the cream still rises to the top. Because look what they did right after they made Beetlejuice. They made not one but two things. People forget Despero exists, but they made two things that say, hey, 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 this thing on the sideline, you can't use that thing anymore. So I wanted to say this when you were talking about Deadpool. People have to be brave enough to play it. So it's called play Despero and then play him. And then now you don't have to play Panther and you have a piece that actually nerfs telekinesis. That is another power that people use. So you can play that, or you can play Chair Panther if you don't have all the, if you got them, if you lucked up like I did. I had the figure, I got the legacy card for next to nothing. So it's like okay, but I haven't played Chair Panther at all because it seemed he's just a support piece that does that to me, and I don't necessarily like it as much. I don't like having to play a certain style. Beetlejuice makes it so you have to play a certain style. I don't play time breakers. That's just not something that interests me in the game. So it's free points to me. It's a very good tactic, and Beetlejuice is a very good tactical piece. I think running Beetlejuice and build like Scott was saying, if you build around Beetlejuice, then that's great. But like you and I have talked about numerous times, I've been building around Cosmic Spidey, and he gets rid of all of that. Turn one, all that stuff is gone. So Beetlejuice is gone. Your objects are gone. Your whole sideline's gone. Get rid of all this. Let's just roll some dice now. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be brave enough to play that stuff. If you're not, then you're gonna say it's a dick move. But if you build a team that's based around a crutch, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's only the other player's fault and not your opponent's. It's not your opponent's fault for playing something that's going to help them win. You know what I'm saying? It's your fault for not being prepared for it. So while I don't like it, I don't play Beetlejuice. I don't play him on my sideline. I've not. I pulled him out of his box, put him in the case. He hasn't moved since. You know what I'm saying? Because generally, when I play either where I'm playing constructed or I'm playing friendly, I don't ever want to have that experience for somebody. Why would you play all these fun pieces? Like Scott mentioned, debris. You can't play debris. Takes a big chunk out of her if Beetlejuice is out on the field. You know what I'm saying? All these pieces that we've mentioned this whole time take free actions. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
So
So it's like
it knowing that there's a bunch of free actions out there that almost virtually every team's going to have, isn't it a good move to have Beetlejuice ready to
that's on Wizkids. It's not on the players. That's on Wizkids. You can't blame the person who are using the gun. If Wizkids gives you the gun to use on people, you can't blame your opponent for saying, well, I got a knife. Why'd you using this gun? Well, I thought this was a fight, and this is what I'm armed with. I'm armed with the gun. So it's either use it or play around. Like you got to build around it.
well, that's been my whole point is that WizKids gave us this insane piece that does insane things, and then we have the community saying don't use it. Is it right or wrong to use it if it's there if it's
It's
legal.
well within everybody's right. It's well within every. I would never tell anybody it's wrong for them to use it. And if you get tired of playing against it, learn to beat it. There's players at my local places that play the same thing all the time. Every time you allow them to play anything, they play the same pieces all the time. So you know what you got to do? You got to play around it. You got to build around it and beat it.
I want to
That's
hear
it.
what I want to hear what Jay's thoughts are.
So here's my thoughts on it. It's mostly available to everyone. It's Iconics. You can get it either at the Wizkids store, at your locals if they have it. If they don't, it can be ordered for you. It's with it being widely available, I don't think there's realistically any issues with it being played. Now, yes, he does entirely change how the game ends up being played. And when you see him on the opposing side, you're going to have to go, okay, what am I going to do with my turn one to ensure that he doesn't F up everything that I have planned? Or if you're on turn two, you go, okay, cool. Now that he's already here, how do I deal with him? Yes, I can PK him. I'm not going to have access to my perplexes, my outwits, etc. But he can still be taken down, and that's the big thing. He can be taken down even without having your free actions. Psyblast is now free. Precision are not free, but Psyblast doesn't take up a free action. Precision Strike doesn't take up a free action. So you still have access to a lot of vanilla powers that allow you to be able to deal with him. And the fact that he is mostly available to everyone, I don't think he's a problematic figure. You shouldn't your team structure shouldn't be so rigid that one figure messes up everything that you have planned.
And the fact that every year that since I started dipping my toes into competitive, every year there's been a set of meta defining figures that everybody says you need to have an answer for. Even if you're not playing that figure, you don't have to be playing Legacy Thanos, but you should be prepared to face him because he's going to be out there and he's going to whoop your ass. Um, Beetlejuice is one of the figures that is available that you should have an answer for. He's not unbeatable. You can take him out. You can score 100 points. He's not that hard to hit if you're prepared for it. I think that if you are going into a competitive scene, there are certain figures, including Beetlejuice, you should be prepared to see and have a plan for. Maybe not build your team around countering, but at least have a plan for it if you see it. And isn't it isn't bad on the player who's using it. Personally,
People are always going to
No, I
complain,
think
man. That ain't never going nowhere. People complain about stuff they can't beat. I'm more worried about Ultra Chase Collector than I am Beetlejuice.
yes.
If I'm being honest about the situation, a piece that
So
has plus
my
two, plus three defenses and shape change and stuff like that, and most pieces people aren't going to play stuff that can outwit them. Like that's more scary than I can't do my free actions. That's just me.
I feel like WizKids laid the groundwork for them to do the Beetlejuice because they had the Merlin chase that said you get one free action per figure. And then you had Wakandan Hulkbuster, but apparently no one understood the verbiage of it. Uh, and then you had Beetlejuice. And to me, I think Wakandan Hulkbuster is equally as bad as Beetlejuice because you only get one free action. And then it's like, hey, come at me, bro. And he's hard to take down other than Beetlejuice has difficulties, but that Wakandan Hulkbuster can give you a ton of issues.
Fits. He definitely can give you fits, man.
One of the things that I
I,
love the
I think
WizKid.
Wakandan Buster.
What's that?
Go ahead.
No,
I was
you
going to say, I
go.
think Wakandan Hulkbuster is much easier to deal with
Yes.
than Beetlejuice, simply because that one free action can make a huge difference. Suddenly you don't have to choose. Hey, am I going to just make a vanilla attack, or am I going to be able to run in and pulse wave this entire team for three with my Hadari Yao, or am I going to just have to go cool? I just have to deal damage over and over and over with Psyblast Precision Strike. That's it. That's all I have access to.
I would say there are
Like
things.
that one free action is huge.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have to choose where that one free action is going. And as the Wakandan Hulkbuster player, I'm going to try and take out that one thing that you're going to try and get me with, or the option that you have to come get him. So, I mean, I played
Sure,
Wes
and
in the game with Hulkbuster, and I gave him an issue.
Yep.
He kept coming, but I gave him an issue.
Now, I think that one thing that Wizkids is doing very, very well right now that I insanely appreciate is the rock, paper, scissors. Everything in the meta has a counterbalance to it. And that's all I see Beetlejuice as is a counterbalance to all the insane 50 million free actions you can take in a turn. And he has his own counterbalance to himself. We have Black Panther, we have Despero, we have a Gauntlet Spider-Man. We have things that can deal with him. If he does come on the board, he is killable relatively easily. And if you keep him out, you're damaging yourself. Just my personal take, I think that there are things I wish they would nerf him a little bit, but if they're not going to, I think he's fine. I think that anybody that uses him is fine.
Wes, how would you have them nerf him? If you were going to get the errata, how would you have him errata?
Range.
I got answers.
I would change the map wide no free actions to a range no free actions. Range of 6.
What's the range?
Range of 6. I think that's plenty good enough.
or did his range value?
Yeah. I would make his range 6 and then say a character within 6 can't use free actions. And I think that the Beetlejuice needs to be in one turn. I'm not sure how that wording would be, but once per turn you can take 3 actions to give name tokens, but it doesn't carry over to the next turn.
So I think if they said he doesn't come off the map, then people aren't going to play him. But maybe put a caveat to where the opponent can say home, 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 and then he goes away.
Oh, I like that. I also want to say this too. Huge missed opportunity to not get a sandworm. They should have had a pog or something to represent the sandworm, because that was when I heard Beetlejuice coming, I'm like, yay, sandworm! And then all we got was Beetlejuice like, oh.
I agree. We should have got a map. Realistically, we should have got a map. We should have got a map that one side is like that, like the house and stuff like that, and the other side is like a big desert with the sandworm maybe being like elevated terrain where you can like jump on the back of the sandworm. They could have did that. Missed opportunity.
Yep. No, the reason I brought this up is because I every episode of Talking Clicks, I talk about Beetlejuice. And for the most part, people say, he's fine. I don't use him, but he's fine. But I listen to Degeneration Clicks where they preach death to Beetlejuice. I will arm wrestle anybody who uses Beetlejuice at Worlds. And I don't want players to be influenced away from using a good piece just because a podcast tells them not to.
But that's the game. The name of the game is that. I mean, look what you said earlier. Like I'm based in my mind is based around meta, right? You know what I'm saying? 75 points is too much. You hearing that from other players. You know what I'm saying? You hearing that from other players. It's called, that's the way this game goes. Net decking is a big thing. Even if people don't play Beetlejuice, every top 10 player pretty much has Beetlejuice on the sideline just in case. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because there might be something that might make you want to bring him out. I mean, it just is it's a piece of it's a part of the game. And we don't even know when he's going to retire. That's the crazy thing. We don't know how long they're going to make Iconics stay legal. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to give them the 3-year life shelf that they do the con exclusives? We don't know yet. So we'll see.
Could be
we'll
longer.
see.
In full transparency, the three of you know my secret sauce team, and But Beetlejuice does potentially play a part in my strategy.
Yeah, why,
And I've
why
been,
not, man?
what's that?
I said, why not? Like,
Well,
if you build around them, why not? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not necessarily building around him, but if things pop off the
If he
way,
helps,
yeah, if things pop off the way I want them to, in an ideal world, he really helps. But I'm not counting on it. But I don't. If I were to take him to Nats and use him the way I'm thinking about using him, I I'll be honest. I'm kind of afraid of the backlash. I don't want people to think, oh, he's not a good player because he's using this broken piece.
Wes,
no,
who
okay.
cares, man?
There's another thought process to this as well, because I mean, you have Spiro, you have Care Panther. There's ways of blocking your sideline. So if you want them to block Beetlejuice instead of Rivalry or Fortify or something else, then you put Beetlejuice on there, and it's your dummy target that you know they're gonna take. So that way you have access to your other stuff that you really want. So use it.
Jay, you've been
That is
awfully
another thing.
quiet. What do you think about all this?
Me?
Yeah.
Uh, as I said, if your team is so rigid that one trigger being on your opponent's team messes it up, that's not a that's not a good team. What I have to say to those people is get good scrub.
Get good. Get good. Yo.
Because I
Anyone that
specifically
shout out
asked
to
you, I
anyone that's listening
specifically
right
asked you
now.
earlier, Jay, about this, and you're like, "Get good."
Yeah, I
Yo.
did because that's having played the first time I played against him, he absolutely wrecked my strategy because I was running Black Lanterns and
Oh,
it was in a silver event and I was running Black Lanterns, which you do require quite a bit of few free actions to be able to put out the markers, to do the support and all that. And my opponent went first and he called out Beetlejuice. I'm like, all right, cool. And yeah, my strategy was hindered quite a bit, but he gave up some points. I was like, all right, cool. And then when he put Beetlejuice out, I was like, all right, cool. Now I can do stuff, heal up, and go forth with it. But that was a learning experience. I used that to go, okay, what do I need to where my teams are no longer in that kind of state where, again, one figure ruins my team, right? Um, Now, yeah, I do plan. Hey, if I'm playing my team, is this something that Beetlejuice will wreck? Okay, then let's tweak it around a little bit because yeah, in a competitive environment, I am very likely to see him somewhere. I don't want my team shut down by one figure. I also complaining about it is not going to do any good. So
at all.
to get good, change your strategy, change up your team a little bit. You know you're going to face him somewhere. Just plan for it. And he is easy to plan for. Chair
Yeah,
Panther, there's Despero, and once he comes out, you can still do, TK out, make him your primary target.
that's
If
the
he's
other
not
part of
buried
this. I
around,
don't think
okay,
people
great, get into
understand what
position.
free actions are and what actions they are still able to take because they're a trigger, not a free action. Uh, People think you can't use charge. You can use charge.
Yeah,
You
you still
just
get an
can't do
attack. You
the
don't get a
terrain
capital
or the
close.
capital close.
Right.
Yeah, so just, go blast his face,
So in the words
take
of
him off the
Jay,
board, score those 100 points.
get good. Learn your PAC.
Get good scrub. Get good
A good scrub.
scrub.
Get good
So,
scrub.
is there a certain way to get good? Because I feel like any game you play, casual, competitive, training, is a way to learn figures and pieces and positioning and timing. So, any game you play is helping you get good.
Well,
Practice,
you
practice,
said
practice.
Practice
the
makes
key
perfect.
word, Scott, which is learn, right? If you go and you get mad because you're losing and you're not learning and you're lost, then you stay a scrub. If you look and you say, okay, well, maybe this wasn't the right figure to have, this wasn't the right map to have, you would be surprised at how many people don't care about maps. They don't care about their placement or their terrain and stuff like that. So this is a strategy based game. I know that the competitive takes away most of the strategy realistically, but this is a strategy based game. So if you and the good players understand the strategy of the game, in all facets of it. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to US and talking about like, oh, I can't, like, who cares about what other people think of your playing? And shout out to anyone who's still listening to us talk at this point in time right now. Thank you for listening for like 2 hours or so. Thank you for listening to us, but do not listen to anyone that is criticizing you just because you play a certain figure. Tell them like it was just said, get good, scrub. Okay, get good. You know what I'm saying? Like, beat it. You don't like it, beat it. Then we can move on to something else. I used to have a tournament like that where you played the same team until it lost, and then you played another team. You know what I'm saying? We called it apocalypse, survival of the fittest. So you played that team until it lost, and then you had to play another team. But until it lost, you kept playing. You know,
Yep.
like
And then like the Supremacy League.
yeah, like a supremacy type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Way before the supremacy, I missed that too. I missed Supremacy League. That was fun. But yes,
Bringing it
yeah.
back. We're bringing it back next month.
All right,
Again,
guys, we have been on. I've been recording for an hour and 45 minutes. I do not want to be like Ryan Redmond and have a 4-hour sweatshop. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I personally had an amazing time. I loved this. This is exactly what I wanted when I suggested this idea to Scott. And I think we got exactly what we were looking for. I would love to have you guys back. We can talk privately about this later. But I personally think this is great. I think the listeners are going to love it. And I would like to have Nerds of the Round Table again. But that's up to
never
you guys.
coming back ever. You don't like Captain America at 75 points, okay? Never. You can't play anyone who doesn't like General Ross. Huh? Okay? How dare you?
Yes, screw you and your limited point views.
Okay?
All right, Jay, save me some time in editing and give me a joke so I don't have to cut one in.
Tell you what, I'll send you one that you can cut in because right now I've got my dogs all vying for my attention.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Does anybody have any last thoughts before we sign out?
Got to talk about Huff and Casual Corner.
Yes. So, as always, we are sponsored by John Hoffner, Clix creator. If you think of it, he can print it on a 3D printer. He does amazing work. He's printing stuff out for Red, White, and Clix. Get your cases, get your tokens at a fraction of the cost. He's even doing plastic for plastic. If you give him your chase, he'll give you a case, collector's case. So it's great deal, great work, cheap price, awesome. Casual Corner. There's going to be a new episode dropping probably at the same time as this. Scott is doing amazing work. This new one that we're dropping, my favorite. I absolutely love this. I'm going to be using it myself. I'm looking forward to it. You're going to love it too. Make sure you watch the video to find out what it's all about. Anything else, guys?
Nah, man. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, man. Be brave enough to play it. Be brave enough to play it. Be brave enough to play it. Forget what everybody else says. Be brave enough to play it. Watch me on What Say You. You know, I love chatting Clix with these not only these guys, with anybody else. So look up my YouTube, What Say You. I like to just run down Clix and unboxing and stuff. If you see me on any of the social medias, antonio.clark.art, feel free to say hello, you know. And if you want art drawn, I did kudos to anybody who won or got the Scott Porter Star-Lord pictures at Heroclix from Huntington. That was my artwork that I got commissioned by that staff to do. So if you want some art, holla at your boy.
All right.
Hey, were you the one that did the God of War art?
No, I didn't do that one. Just a Scott Porter.
Speaking of art,
Okay.
huge shout out to my man Jay for making the Red, White, and Clix map. It looks amazing. I have gotten dozens of compliments on it. I'm looking forward to playing it in person, and I hope everybody shows up to get their copy. It looks amazing, dude. So thank you so much for that.
Of course.
All right, and you guys all know the sign off. What's that?
I was gonna say I just got an idea for maps for next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the post.
I can't wait to see it. All right. All right, you guys all know the sign off. Let's do it together. For everybody out in Heroclix land, keep on
Keep on
clixing.
clicking.
All right, have a good night.
Good night. All right, I'm setting up for a game of roulette. I have my 150 point figures, my 100 point figures, my 50 point figures. I'm going to roll a d6 to designate what my team is going to be. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dark side will be on the team. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She-Hulk on the team. Same thing. Frank the Plant. Now I check for a theme team, which I do not have, and then I would roll for map. And then after this game is done, these pieces go away. All right, setting up for game 2. Same process. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm going to play the game with this as my team. Warrior, not a theme team. So carry on. The final game will be the final 3 pieces. All right, so this will be my final team. It is not a theme team, so I'm just going to play with it as it is. And that's roulette.